From helicopters that can lift entire tanks to aircraft so massive they dwarf buildings, these are the top 15 biggest helicopters ever produced. Number 15, the Sikorsky UH-60 Blackhawk. So probably one of the most well-known military helicopters of all, the Sikorsky UH-60, which is more commonly known as the Blackhawk, began being developed in the 1970s to meet the U.S. Army's need for a new generation of transport helicopters. Designed to have a balance between capability, agility, and ease of transport, it has an overall length of 64 feet and a main rotor diameter of 53 feet. Which gives it a pretty powerful lift, allowing it to operate effectively in a wide range of different environments. Its fuselage, not including the rotors, is around 50 feet long. It's about 12 feet tall, making it just possible to be carried on a large aircraft like the C-17 Globemaster III. With this size, the cabin of the UH-60 is large enough to carry up to 11 fully equipped troops, a decent amount of cargo, or medical stretchers during evacuation missions. It's also able to lift cargo externally with a cargo hook, which is mounted beneath the helicopter's fuselage. By doing this, the helicopter can carry an external load weighing up to 9,000 pounds, or just over 4,000 kilograms, which means it's able to transport various pieces of large equipment too. Even when doing this, the UH-60 is able to navigate in environments with limited space, such as dense urban areas, and its compact height makes it easier to land in confined spaces, like clearings or narrow streets. So it's no wonder that it's become such a workhorse for the military since its introduction. Number 14, the Camoff Ka27. The Camoff Ka27, which is also known by its NATO name, the Helix. It's a Soviet-designed military helicopter that was developed by the Camoff Design Bureau in the late 1970s. It was specifically created for anti-submarine warfare, search and rescue missions, and maritime reconnaissance. It's around 37 feet or about 11 meters long and 17 feet or about 5.5 meters tall. While being a large and powerful chopper, this size allows it to operate from the decks of ships, including frigates and destroyers. Now, the most unusual thing about the design, though, is the thing that makes it truly suited to operating over the water: its rotor system. Unlike most other helicopters, the Ka-27 has a coaxial rotor arrangement, which means that it has two sets of rotors that are mounted one above the other on the same axis, but is rotating in opposite directions. Each rotor has a diameter of around 52 feet or about 16 meters. This gives it powerful lift capability without needing a tail rotor. For anti-submarine missions, though, it's equipped with sonar systems, magnetic anomaly detectors, and sonobuoys. It's got a winch system for hoisting survivors during search and rescue operations, and it's got a maximum takeoff weight of around 26,000 pounds, or just over 12,000 kilos. It is an effective medium-weight helicopter that's capable of carrying crew, anti-submarine weaponry like torpedoes, and a range of equipment for its specialized roles, and adapted to operational needs with little notice, thanks to its layout to make efficient use of every bit of space within the fuselage. Number 13, the Industries NH90. The NH90 is described as being a modern, medium-sized, multi-role helicopter that was designed to meet the needs of several NATO member states. It was developed for military and maritime uses by NH Industries, which is a consortium made up of Airbus helicopters, Leonardo helicopters, and Fokker aerostructures. And since its introduction in 2007, it's become a favorite for a number of military forces around the world. The NH90 comes in two main variants: the tactical transport helicopter for land-based operations and the NATO frigate helicopter for maritime missions, each having been optimized for the conditions they'll likely operate in. Its size was designed to strike a balance between operational capacity and versatility, so the helicopter has an overall length of about 62 feet or just under 20 meters, which puts it in the medium lift category. The four-bladed main rotor has a diameter of 53 feet or about 16.3 meters, which is more than enough for the NH90 to generate plenty of lift. The cabin here is adaptable, allowing for different configurations depending on the mission, including space for special force operations, command and control roles, or even logistics support. It's got a maximum takeoff weight of around 23,000 pounds or about 10,500 kilos, and it can carry external loads of up to 8,800 pounds or 4,000 kilos. Even when full, its twin Rolls-Royce Turbomeca RTM 322 engine provides it with brilliant performance, including a top speed of around 190 miles or 300 kilometers per hour. The NH90's flexibility now has made it particularly attractive to countries looking for a modern helicopter that can be used across a range of military applications. Number 12, the Boeing Vertol CH46 Sea Knight. The CH46 Sea Knight. It's a medium-lift tandem rotor helicopter that was originally developed in the 1960s for the Marine Corps and Navy. It was designed by Boeing Vertol, and soon it became a vital part of military ops, with roles including troop transport, cargo resupply, and search and rescue missions. The model now has been fully retired, but in many ways it showed how effective a military helicopter could be, and it paved the way for the more advanced designs that are used today. The CH46 is built with two counter-rotating rotors, one in the front and the other in the rear. This design is a feature that was included to improve its stability and performance. With the rotor blades turning, the Sea Knight is around 84 feet or 25.7 meters long, which is a large footprint when operational, but one that's still suited to shipboard storage and operations, which is vital for its use. The rotor system is made up of those two three-bladed rotors, each with a diameter of over 51 feet or about 15.5 meters. As well as providing that powerful lift, this removes the need for a tail rotor, which allows for a shorter fuselage design than it would be possible with just one rotor. This doesn't mean it's short on space though. As a cabin that can carry up to 25 fully equipped troops or 15 stretchers, the rear of the fuselage also incorporates a loading ramp that can be used for the rapid loading and unloading of cargo and personnel. It's got a maximum takeoff weight of around 24,000 pounds or 11,000 kilos, with options to carry payloads internally or bulkier ones externally. For this, it's got an inbuilt cargo hook beneath the fuselage that can lift loads of up to 10,000 pounds. The GE turboshaft engines provide power to achieve a cruising speed of 166 miles an hour across a range of up to 690 miles or just over 1,100 kilometers, making this a hugely useful asset for the more than 50 years that it was in service. Number 11. The Eurocopter EC725. The Eurocopter EC725 is a long-range tactical transport helicopter that was introduced in 2005 by Eurocopter, which is now known as Airbus Helicopters. The 725 was developed as an upgraded version of the AS532 Cougar with enhanced performance, advanced avionics, and its larger cabin. It became a popular choice for military forces around the world thanks to its use in roles such as combat search and rescue, troop transport, medical evac, and even special operations support. Its overall length is 64 feet or about 19.5 meters with the rotor system fully extended, and the main rotor itself has a diameter of around 51 feet or about 15.6 meters. Its maximum takeoff weight is about 24,700 pounds or 11,200 kilos, and is powered by two Turbomecher Makila 2A1 turboshaft engines, which allow it to reach a maximum speed of about 201 miles per hour. It also has a combat radius of up to 660 nautical miles or 1,200 kilometers, meaning it's ideal also for long-range missions. It's designed with a large cabin that offers a great amount of space for passengers, cargo, or specialized mission equipment. The cabin is 11 feet 10 inches or 3.6 meters long, with a width of 6 feet 8 inches or just over 2 meters, and a height of 4 feet 10 inches or 1.47 meters. This means there's room for up to 29 troops, 12 stretchers, or a significant amount of cargo. It's this, along with the power, that it's meant that, along with military missions, the EC725 has proven to be effective for humanitarian and disaster relief efforts, and it's now often used as a quick response for natural disasters and rapidly developing situations. Number 10. The Augusta Westland AW101. The AW101, which is called the Merlin, was developed as a joint effort between Augusta and Westland Helicopters and was introduced in the late 1990s as a multi-role aircraft. Measuring 64 feet or 19.5 meters long, not including the rotor blades, and with a main rotor diameter of 61 feet or about 18.5 meters, the helicopter is about 22 feet or 6.6 meters tall and is one of the largest in its class. 6 feet 6 inches or 2 meters wide and 6 feet or 1.83 meters tall, which provides space for up to 30 fully equipped troops, 16 stretchers, or a large cargo load. It's powered by 3 Rolls-Royce Turbomecha RTM322 turboshaft engines, which each provide around 2,300 horsepower. It allows the helicopter to reach a cruising speed of 172 miles or 278 kilometers per hour, with a maximum range of around 863 miles or 1,390 kilometers. Importantly, the 3-engine configuration provides a redundancy for safety in case one fails, but it also to add to the helicopter's ability to lift large loads while maintaining performance. In all, the maximum takeoff weight is around 34,000 pounds or 15,600 kilograms, and it's able to lift up to 12,000 pounds or 5,400 kilos as an external load using the cargo hook. One of the main roles that the AW101 has been in use for is its anti-submarine warfare, and this shows just how versatile it can be. For this, the helicopter is equipped with advanced sonar systems, sonobuoys, and torpedoes, and its cabin allows for the installation of sophisticated mission equipment. It can carry a substantial amount of medical and rescue equipment, and its large cabin ensures that there's plenty of room for people to be brought on board by the powerful winch system, which can make all the difference in time-critical scenarios. Number 9. The Bell Boeing V22 Osprey. Alright, I love this one. The V22 Osprey is a unique aircraft that combines the vertical lift capability of a helicopter with the speed and range of a fixed-wing plane. It's what's known as a tilt-rotor aircraft, and it was developed as a joint project by Bell Helicopter and Boeing to meet a specific need for the United States military. It's 57 feet or 17.5 meters long with a wingspan of 84 feet or about 25.8 meters, with the rotors fully extended. Depending on the configuration, it can be up to 22 feet or about 6.7 meters tall, which makes the Osprey pretty large compared to traditional helicopters. The large prop rotors of this thing, each with a diameter of 38 feet or 11.6 meters, can be tilted vertically for takeoff and landing, like a helicopter, and then rotated forward for horizontal flight like a turboprop plane. This capability gives the Osprey a distinct advantage over traditional helicopters and fixed-wing craft, as it can take off and land in confined spaces, while also flying at speeds of 277 miles or 440 kilometers per hour, which is much faster than conventional choppers. It's got a maximum takeoff weight of about 60,000 pounds or 27,000 kilos for short takeoff and landing operations, and around 52,000 pounds or 23,000 kilos for vertical takeoff and landing. The craft can also carry an external load of up to 10,000 pounds, which allows it to transport heavy equipment and supplies to forward operating bases or disaster zones. Number 8. The Sikorsky S92. The S92 was developed by Sikorsky Aircraft, which is part of Lockheed Martin, and it was first introduced in the early 2000s. It's 56 feet or 17.1 meters long, not including the rotors, and it's around 15 feet 9 inches or 4.8 meters tall. Now, these dimensions did mean it's classed as a medium-lift chopper with a balance between interior space for cargo and passengers. Its size makes it a choice for offshore oil and gas industries, as it can transport workers between onshore bases and offshore platforms. The spacious interior here is designed to transport up to 19 passengers comfortably, depending on the seating configuration, and in a VIP or executive transport version, the interior can be customized to provide luxury accommodations. At the rear of the cabin, there's a large clamshell door, which provides easy access for loading and unloading, which is something that's especially useful for search and rescue ops. The rotor system on the S92 features a 4-bladed main rotor and a 4-bladed tail rotor. The main rotor is made from composite materials, which are both lightweight and durable, and its large diameter provides powerful lift, allowing the chopper to carry payloads while remaining stable. In all, the helicopter has a maximum gross weight of around 26,500 pounds or about 12,000 kilos, which makes it suitable for various roles, from troop transport to moving heavy equipment or conducting rescue missions. This chopper also uses Sikorsky's active vibration control system, which reduces vibrations throughout the cabin and makes for a smoother ride for passengers and crew. Moving on to number 7, the Sikorsky S64 Sky Crane. Helicopters are often designed to be useful for a number of different purposes, but the Sikorsky S64 was made to really do one thing extremely well. Also known as the Sky Crane, it's a powerful heavy-lift chopper that can handle particularly heavy and bulky loads. It was originally developed in the 1960s by Sikorsky. The S64 was based on the idea of creating a helicopter that could act as an airborne crane and able to lift or transport large cargo. It's one of the most easily recognizable helicopters too, thanks to its unusual shape. With an overall length of 88 feet or 26.8 meters, it's got a rotor system that's made up of 6 blades and has a total diameter of 72 feet or 21.9 meters. This gives the helicopter phenomenal lifting ability. It doesn't even have a normal fuselage, and instead it's an open framework that's specifically designed to allow for maximum load carrying. The structural design makes the Sky Crane very different from other helicopters, as it can operate in situations where other aircraft can't due to weight or size limitations. The Sky Crane has an impressive maximum lift capacity of around 20,000 pounds or 9,000 kilograms. In construction, the Sky Crane has been used to transport and place heavy equipment like HVAC units on top of tall buildings, which would be far more challenging and costly with ground-based cranes. For logging, it's used to lift large logs from remote areas, reducing the need for constructing roads in environmentally sensitive regions. The aircraft's equipped with a sophisticated precision lift system that allows the crew to maneuver heavy loads with accuracy. And this truly comes into its own on the helicopter's firefighting configuration, known as the helitanker, where it's able to carry up to 2,600 gallons, over 10,000 liters of water or fire retardant. Its open design also allows for the attachment of modular cargo pods or specialized equipment beneath the frame. These pods can serve as command centers or medical evacuation compartments, which means that the chopper's function can be changed in an instant. Number 6. The MiL Mi-6. The Mi-6, which is also known as the Hook, is a Soviet heavy-lift helicopter that was developed by the MiL Moscow helicopter plant. The first one flew in 1957, and after being introduced into service in 1962, the model became the world's largest at the time, and it was also the first production helicopter to be equipped with a turboshaft engine. Measuring 108 feet or 33 meters long, the Mi-6 is a massive helicopter, especially when compared to others from its era. The main rotor has a diameter of 114 feet, or 35 meters, which was groundbreaking at the time of its development. Its fuselage was designed to provide plenty of space for both troops and cargo, with a cabin measuring 39 feet or about 12 meters long, 8 feet 9 inches or 2.7 meters wide, and 7 feet 10 inches or 2.4 meters high. This means it had room for up to 90 fully equipped troops, or alternatively up to 26,000 pounds or 12,000 kilos of cargo. Such a large vehicle obviously needs some real power behind it, and the Mi-6 has two D25V turboshaft engines, each producing over 5,500 horsepower. With a maximum speed of around 186 miles or 300 kilometers per hour, this powerful engine, combined with a large rotor system, allowed the Mi-6 to carry heavy payloads while maintaining a reasonable speed. One of the other things about its design that made it so useful was its four-wheeled landing gear, which was designed to handle rough and uneven terrain. While it was originally intended for military use, its wider benefits soon became clear. In military settings, it was used for troop transports, logistics, and even airborne command posts. And it proved to be particularly useful deploying large numbers of personnel or heavy equipment. In civilian roles, on the other hand, the Mi-6 was used for construction projects, especially in remote areas like Siberia. Its ability to carry large prefabricated components made it ideal for construction of power lines, pipelines, and other infrastructure projects, as well as for disaster relief. Number 5. The Boeing CH47 Chinook. This is probably the most famous and recognizable helicopter of all. The Boeing CH47 Chinook was first introduced in the early 1960s. Over the years, it's become a vital asset for military forces around the world, with at least 20 different countries currently operating them. The Chinook is 98 feet 10 inches or 30.1 meters long and has the tandem rotor design, which features two large three-bladed rotors. The distance between the centers of the two rotor systems is roughly 60 feet or about 18.3 meters, and this allows each aircraft to maintain incredible stability and provide an extremely powerful lift. It's about 18 feet 11 inches or 5.7 meters tall at the top of the rotor mast, making it significantly taller than many other helicopters. This further adds to the Chinook's ability to handle larger loads, something that's important for logistical and construction tasks. Inside, the cargo compartment of the Chinook is 30 feet or 9.1 meters long and 7 feet 6 inches or 2.3 meters wide. This provides space for up to 33 fully equipped troops or 24 stretchers. There's a large ramp at the back for a quick loading and unloading of equipment, vehicles, and troops, and the ramp can be lowered during flight to allow cargo to be airdropped. It's got a maximum gross weight of around 50,000 pounds or about 22,000 kilos, which is huge compared to most helicopters. This allows it to carry heavy payloads internally or sling-loaded externally, and it's able to carry up to 22,000 pounds or 10,000 kilos externally, and makes it a useful tool for transporting heavy equipment. Unlike traditional single-rotor helicopters, which require a tail rotor to counteract the torque produced by the main rotor, the Chinook's two rotors rotate in opposite directions so they cancel each other's torque. This design reduces the amount of power needed for stabilization and allows more power to be directed to lift and propulsion. Surprisingly, even as a heavy-lift helicopter, the Chinook can reach speeds of up to 196 miles or 315 kilometers per hour, which makes it one of the fastest of its kind in service. This speed advantage allows it to quickly transport troops and supplies, providing a tactical benefit in military operations. Number 4. The MiL Mi-10. The MiL Mi-10 is a Soviet heavy-lift helicopter that was designed and produced by the MiL Moscow helicopter plant. First introduced in the early 1960s, it was based on the successful MIL Mi-6, but specifically engineered as a flying crane, with the ability to carry large payloads and unusual cargo. Measuring 104 feet or 31.3 meters long, including the rotor system, it's simply huge, and as a result, it can easily stabilize and carry heavy and oversized loads. The landing gear was engineered specifically for this heavy lifting role, and it's essentially 4 tall, spindly landing gear struts that give it a walking crane appearance. These struts raise the fuselage high off the ground and allowing for its oversized loads to be positioned directly underneath. This is crucial for the role in carrying bulky cargo such as prefabricated buildings, heavy machinery, or even other helicopters. As the helicopter was primarily designed for heavy lifting of cargo outside of the cabin itself is really just there for the crew and essential equipment rather than passengers or cargo. The helicopter, though, can carry up to 33,000 pounds or 15,000 kilos of cargo on its external platform. It's powered by 2 Soloviev D25V turboshaft engines, each producing over 5,500 horsepower. Mi-10 has a cruising speed of around 120 miles or 190 kilometers per hour, and a range of up to 310 miles or 500 kilometers when carrying a standard load. The Mi-10K features a secondary pilot station in a gondola underneath the helicopter, which allows a better view of the cargo during complex loading operations. This modification was included for civil engineering and construction projects, where precision was crucial for placing heavy components. Number 3. The Sikorsky CH53K King Stallion. The King Stallion is a heavy-lift cargo helicopter that was developed by Sikorsky Aircraft for the United States Marine Corps. As an evolution of the earlier CH53 series, the K variant was designed with advanced tech, enhanced lifting capabilities, and modern avionics, making it by far the most powerful helicopter in the U.S. military's inventory. With an overall length of 99 feet or about 30 meters, this extended size makes room for its large cabin and provides space for the powerful triple-engine configuration that gives the helicopter its capability. The King Stallion features a 7-bladed main rotor with a diameter of 79 feet or 24 meters, which contributes to its lifting power, meaning the helicopter can operate in remote environments where traditional infrastructure is unavailable, which is crucial for expeditionary military operations. The helicopter's cargo bay is 30 feet or 9.1 meters long, 9 feet or 2.7 meters wide, and 6.5 feet or 1.9 meters tall. This allows it to carry up to 55 troops or a range of oversized cargo, and it's designed to be adaptable so that seating space can be quickly reconfigured. Amazingly, the King Stallion has a maximum external lift capacity of 36,000 pounds or 16,000 kilograms, meaning it can carry heavy loads like Humvees, light armored vehicles, and artillery pieces. Also impressive are the 3 GE T408 turboshaft engines, which each provide over 7,500 horsepower, with a total of 22,500 horses. This power, combined with the helicopter's large rotor, allows it to lift more at high altitudes and in hot conditions, and with a cruising speed of around 196 or 315 kilometers per hour. Number 2. The MIL Mi-26. The Mi-26, also known as Halo, is the largest and most powerful helicopter to have ever gone into serial production. Developed by the MIL Moscow helicopter plant, it was designed to meet the Soviet Union's demand for a heavy-lift helicopter, and did this so well that it's often compared to fixed-wing cargo aircraft because of its size and capability. Measuring 131 feet or 40 meters long, the rotor system has 8 blades with a rotor diameter of 105 feet or 32 meters, which allows it to transport extremely heavy loads. The cargo bay is capable of holding up to 20 tons, which can include a wide range of loads from military vehicles to construction equipment. It is designed to carry cargo that would otherwise require the use of fixed-wing transport craft, and can even hold standard shipping containers, meaning it's a valued tool for military logistics, humanitarian aid, and industrial operations. The helicopter also has a dedicated crane system built into the cargo compartment, which is capable of lifting loads weighing several tons, and is particularly useful when places when ground support's not available. It also has an external cargo hook, which allows it to sling load cargo that can't fit inside, and this external load capability can reach up to 44,000 pounds or 20,000 kilos when needed. Of course, with such large loads, the Mi-26 needs a huge amount of power, and this comes from 2 Lotarev D136 turboshaft engines, which can each generate 11,000 horsepower. The combined power output of these engines gives the helicopter a capability to lift and transport extremely heavy loads while maintaining a cruising speed of 158 miles or 255 kilometers per hour. and to even reach altitudes of up to 15,000 feet or 4.6 kilometers, which allows it to operate in mountainous terrain and remote areas where other aircraft might begin to struggle. Number 1. The MIL V-12. The V-12, which is known by NATO as Homer, is the largest helicopter that was ever built, and even more than 50 years later, nothing else has come anywhere close. It was developed by the MIL Moscow helicopter plant during the 1960s as a heavy-lift helicopter that could transport massive cargo. Ultimately, only 2 prototypes were ever built, and the V-12 never entered mass production, but that was enough for it to break every record going. With an overall length of 121 feet or 37 meters and a height of 41 feet or 12.5 meters, the V-12 towers over every other helicopter. The rotor system is made up of 2 sets of rotors mounted on wings that reach out from either side of the fuselage, and each has a diameter of 115 feet or 35 meters. These rotors are arranged in a tandem counter-rotating configuration, which effectively creates a twin-rotor helicopter. Now, the cargo hold was comparable in size to that of small fixed-wing cargo aircraft, at 92 feet or 28 meters long and 14 feet or 4.5 meters wide. This allowed the V-12 to carry large payloads such as military vehicles, construction equipment, or missile components. It had a maximum payload capacity of 97,000 pounds or 44,000 kilos, which set the record for being the heaviest lifting helicopter ever built. That was possible because of the 4 Soloviev D25 VF turboshaft engines, which each produce around 6,500 horsepower. The combined power of the 4 engines gave the V-12 a maximum takeoff weight of 231,000 pounds or 105 tons, and even then, it was still able to reach a top speed of 140 miles or 220 kilometers per hour, with an operational range of about 310 miles or 500 kilometers. While seriously impressive, there were difficulties that came with such a large design beyond, obviously, the huge cost. The helicopter required a large ground crew and specialized infrastructure for maintenance and refueling wherever it went, so there weren't many places it was actually able to go. It did, though, have a clever landing gear with 10 wheels in total, which allowed it to land on unprepared surfaces, as long as it had enough fuel to take off and return to base again. The MIL V-12 made its first flight in 1968 and in 1969 set several world records, including the heaviest load ever lifted by a helicopter. These records remain unbroken, showing just how large and powerful its design was. The V-12 program was canceled, largely because of changing priorities within the Soviet Union, improvements in fixed-wing transport aircraft, and the sheer complexity and cost involved in the helicopter's production and operation. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time. Thank you to our channel members.